Hello, my name is Will Stowell. Today I want to provide you a tutorial on how to get started using the Limbo Wwise session. You can read these instructions in the included download, and I do highly recommend going over these because pretty much everything all these steps I'm explaining are all just written right in here. My main goal with this video is to simplify getting started with the Limbo session. I'm making this video on my own, and the information I give out is purely just advice. I wish I had something similar to this when I went through the project, because pretty much if you are new to Wwise or if you had not used Wwise for a long period of time, it's nice to get a little bit of a refresher. So after downloading the Limbo session, we shall start it up. And oh my god, there's an error message. If we were programmers, this would have been an everyday occurrence in our lives, but as our engineers, this freaks us out, and pretty much in this case, do not panic. When you download the Limbo session, you are to pretty much move, due to privileges, administrative privileges, move the session away from the Audio Connect folder. So in this case, I put it just right here on my desktop. So just start up from there. Alright, so pretty much all the audio in the audio tab, this is where all the audio files will be for the Limbo session. They're all pretty much in a bunch of different hierarchies, so a lot of this, you'll be doing a lot of exploring, as this is a very vast session. Here we're going to go to the jump forward noise. So as you notice, the sound files are all labeled red. You're pretty much going to find red files, turquoise, and white. When it's red, these are the original audio files, but there's no physical audio actually there. So when you play these files, notice if the original button is selected, you won't be able to play them. But when you deselect it, you'll be able to get that sound. So this is just a random container folder right here with pretty much all the nice jump sounds. Now these jump sounds are linked to pretty much the events. And the events, these all have parameters assigned to the events. So if we follow the hierarchy to jump forward, we'll see we have the jump forward noise, dry wet, and breathing, and this all pretty much makes one awesome random sound container. Notice that the original button is not being highlighted. So we want to import a sound into here and get connected to Wwise. So first thing I'm gonna show you is I'm gonna start up the Limbo. Oh, here it is. I'm gonna start the Limbo session and we're gonna get connected. To connect to your Limbo session, you go up and you hit remote. Once it's fired up, you select connect, and now we are fully connected. So now we're going to hit F6 and go to the profiler. You can also find this with the layout, and the three pretty much windows we're going to be using the most is the designer, the profiler, and the sound bank. So memorizing these quick keys to bounce between these windows will save you lots of time. So as you can see with the profiler, we are viewing all the sounds that are being played at once. So we can stop the capture and we can pretty much follow wherever that sound is coming from. We go find in project viewer, sync group 1, and there we have it. We have a drone. So now I'm going to exit out of there. Now pressing F5, we go back to the audio events, the designer view, double click on the sound, and we can pretty much hear that nice long drone. So this pretty much returning to the profiler, this is where you will track down a lot of your sounds. Pretty much just every time you play the game, you'll go through and as the game plays, you can pause You can pause, stop capture, and you can pretty much, it's just a game of hide and seek with a bunch of files and then tracking them down. So now I'm going to show you how to get your audio into Wwise. There's two main ways. The first way, you can select the sound and hit Shift O, or go to Views and Contents Editor. When you're in the Contents Editor, all you have to do is take your sound, take this grunt, and hover it over the SFX bar. Now this is going to be right here, so we're going to import, and now we're going to select Use. Now, I have previously imported some of these sounds in before, but when you import a sound, until you link it to the game, sometimes you must click the original. Here we can hear the sound. In this case, importing like this, it doesn't matter if we have the original button selected or not. We'll get that grunt. Not really a grunt, but it's what I thought of at the time. Now we're going to go to pretty much on layouts our sound bank, or F7. Now, to be able to generate our audio, make sure that you have these 3 check marks selected. So now we're just going to hit generate, and in this situation we're going to pretend that we are programmers, and you're going to get these errors, but we're going to ignore them because everything works and that's what counts. So now we're going to go back to Limbo, play game, fire this up. Resume. So there we go. So we got pretty much that grunt in there. So now go and disconnect. So pretty much now with that right there, we're going to do the other way to import. So you can pretty much replace all the sounds in this hierarchy and keep it right there. But the other way, if you want to keep track of what your sounds are or create your own hierarchy, you can just create a new folder. So I'm just going to create just a sound effect and call it Dag Nabbit. Now I'm going to hit F5, go back to this guy, and when highlighted, you can hit Shift I or just right click and import audio. And I'm going to drag over our Dag Nabbit sound, import. So now as you see, it's highlighted turquoise. So with this sound, I cannot demo it without hitting the original button. Dag Nabbit. So now just for fun, I'm going to actually turn on the randomizer and enable and give this some little bit of life in there. So right, so now we're gonna go back, generate these sounds, but wait, we forgot a step. You have to link any file that you create, you have to link to the events. So we must come to the pretty much events editor, and we're going to add a play action, and we're going to browse, follow, link our Dag Nabbit, and now with that in there, now something, if we go back to the profiler, notice if I just play Dag Nabbit, we're only going to hear the original. Now if I unselect it, we're not going to hear the original anymore. So always keep that in mind. Sometimes that can really mess with your head on exactly what you're doing. So another thing to also keep in mind is when you're placing events in here, game objects, pretty much depending what they're placed under. When you go to, we're going to go back to our, pretty much our jump noise, jump forward. When you go to, you have scope and global and game object, depending on what type of file it's affecting. This will also affect if it will play or not. So always keep that in mind. So now we're going to regenerate this with everything selected, ignoring all these errors. Start Limbo, and we can just reconnect right there. So now we're all reconnected. Resume. And there we go. We got all those funny sounds. But now there's a problem. All these sounds are layering all over each other. So we're just going to go ahead and fix these. So I'm going to go back to the pretty much my dagnabbit folder, and I'm going to go to the advanced settings, and I'm going to limit instances to only one, and I'm going to disregard the newest instance. So I want every instance, pretty much every sound effect to just play. If I do it the opposite way, every time I jumped, it would cut off the oldest instance. But in this case, we're going to do it like this. Now we're just going to generate. And now we're going to go right back into Limbo. All right.
Dagnabbit.
As you can see now, only one file is playing at a time, and it waits until the finish. So pretty much using these methods are going to give you the most creative flexibility with using this Limbo session. So pretty much just an overview. Just remember these shortcuts, hitting F5 for designer, F6 for profiler, and then hitting F7 for the sound bank, and don't forget to generate all the files. So I hope this video helped you pretty much get started with this session. There are a lot of things to learn from Limbo, and the auto design is an amazing session in general. And if you have any questions, I'm not a real tech support official, but I, as a audio engineer to another audio engineer, I'll do my best to try help you out, and pretty much anything that I can do, I'll share that knowledge with you. So I thank you for watching this video, and hopefully it at least will help someone out there. My name is Will Stowe again. You can follow me at Will of Sound on Twitter. And if we ever meet together, we can go out to lunch and geek out on anime or something. So, hope you have a good one, and just go out there and make some noise.